Hey everybody, so here I am, Marty the JavaScript party, and my sidekick Rhett behind me. She's doing this little, I don't know, crying, whimpering thing that she does. She picked that up from a dog that we owned um, probably 20 years ago. His name was Sebastian. He was a Pekingese, and he lived with us. They had a sort of a, he passed when he was like 15 years old, maybe 16 years old, and they had about 3 years that they overlapped. And she still makes noises, mimics noises that good old Sebastian used to make. So that's really neat. It's a nice reminder once in a while. I guess I should add another one of these things. So basically, the I should have built auto resize from the start. That would have been a good thing. And then I want to have multiple, multiple, multiple views and a collapsible menu. Okay, so I was looking the video that I uploaded today, which is December 10th. Today, that was the video I uploaded today. So I was watching it, and I noticed that I had forgotten one more thing that I need to fix before I sort of have this all tidied up, and that was this redonkulous error, console log error. And I'm pretty sure basically that this error means that um, the that the number changed before it had a chance to execute it on the template. So the only time I ever see this is whenever you have a value that's on the template, and if that value changes, the it it gets upset. But it to me, it's just like I don't care. I don't care about this one, and I feel very confident. I can't even tell you how many hours billable that I've spent making this error console log error go away. And I don't think it brought any value to the organizations that I work with, other than the fact that you do need to clear these up, because if you're not like super aggressive about getting these things cleared up, they end up stacking up. You end up with thousands of them, and makes it very difficult to do debugging. So that's that. So I guess we should try to figure this out. So this is actually pretty useful. I don't think this was always there, where it shows you, what the actual template value is, and it's upset because it's trying to print out this template aspect. And so I think what it's saying is that, like, here, if you go to the canvas, is it the canvas? Um, or no, I guess it's the camera. This aspect, this number, I believe we're probably on initialization coding it to be 1.5 or 1.0, which would be a square, and then it's doing a recalculation and turn it to 1.57. So that's like, okay, it's upset that it never got to write 1.0 down. I believe that is what is happening here. So this is the camera. So that's usually the best place to start. Um, Manager, and then is it? I guess it's for the perspective camera, and it is this guy, camera aspect. So I believe, and I'm not actually 100% sure, but I think if we get rid of that, the error will go away. Oh, maybe not. Oh, did it It feels like it didn't actually. Yeah, I think it's finally redrawn. Yeah, see, so it's upset, right? So it's gone. It went away. Now clearly that's usually not going to be an appropriate um, answer, to actually just get rid of it. Um, so basically, um, so in this effect, we're saying, so this is basically, this code is firing before the first time it gets a chance. And this is this is a new bug, right? Like this, I'm pretty sure this showed up. This console error showed up after we did the Angular 19 update. So one of the things that's always fun to do, and this is obviously not um, an appropriate um, solution, but it's always fun to go down this for a second. Um, I think this alone would also cause the problem to no longer happen. Not 100% on that. Oh no, it didn't. Okay. So I thought that basically adding a little bit of time, pushing it to the next um, async clock would solve the problem, but it didn't. So let's try this. Let's add like 2 seconds. So basically we're saying, don't just take a little bit of time before you do the update. Take a 2 second break. Okay, so that was fine. So that made the problem go away. If we were to go over there to camera, we get it, but we never had an error. And that further shows that, like, telling it to give a little break makes it go away. So let's try 1 millisecond. Really surprised me that just no milliseconds didn't, not. And so, yeah, the problem went away, seems to have gone away. We don't have the problem because we added a set timeout. No one likes that answer. Sometimes adding a little set timeout is the only way to fix certain things, and be ready for some blowback. So even 0 milliseconds, adding a set timeout with 0 milliseconds fixes the problem. So basically what happens is it lets it draw it at one, and then 1/60th of a second later, the next drawing, it actually it gets to draw it at 1.7. It gets to draw that text at 1.7. Now I don't understand why you have to give it the 0. You didn't used to have to give it the 0 to make that happen. To fix the problem, but now apparently you do. I guess, yeah, for some reason, if you don't send it a number. So, but anyway, so now we've proven that that is the issue, that this effect is firing, and that it's firing before and causing that. We probably don't, I don't know what I just did. So now it's just like, okay, so what should I do? I definitely don't want to have a set timeout in there. I mean, I would really rather not do that. So let's go to where, so it's this camera item values. So let's go to this. So this guy is getting called, and it is basically just the computed version of this. So let's go ahead and call that. And I think what we want to find is where it's getting called. Okay, so basically we're looking for everywhere where this camera item signal set gets called. There's 3 of them. So whenever you're doing an update, that one is commented out, and then this is also update. Okay, so this is when you update the camera type, and then this is when you update the camera. So I'm guessing this is it. So let's just see. Apparently we have to give it a time now. Now, obviously, again, this is not the answer. This is just us moving in the direction of trying to find an answer. So we still do have it this time. Let's try to make this 1,000 milliseconds. That actually really does surprise me. Let's do this. Maybe that one doesn't get called. Weighted. Okay, so that one did not get called. So that I don't think is the problem. So maybe it's this guy down here. Update type. It's so weird. So now I do not really know exactly why. It is that. Back to console. I wonder. This setup. Okay, let's say console.log. Oops. Update camera. So update camera's not getting called. This could be a good one. Mesh manager. This, oh no, it's camera perspective component. It's perspective, right? That's messing up. Maybe it's, I can't remember what it is. Aspect. Okay, so A, that needs to be after, because it hasn't been set yet. So that's very interesting because it never even got the 1.2, right? So 1.57 came from somewhere else. That is so interesting. So how did it even get 1.57 if it wasn't from this effect? All right, so camera item aspect. Oh wait, does it get, it's not an input, is it? No. That is so strange. Okay, let's try this. Inspect. I'm always amazed at how this one gets me too. Like all the time. Okay, so the big question mark is how did this even get to 1.57? Why is it even complaining about it being 1.57? Because we set this value, this camera item gets set right there. So how does it even get to 1.57? Am I right? That's weird, right? That's weird. Wow. So camera item aspect is 1. Do we have the error yet? We do not have the error yet. Run it. And then we don't get back in there again. Okay, I'm just going to try this out. See what happens. What if we don't even set it? Oh, well, then I guess it'll get upset here because it's undefined. Not even going to set it. I don't know what that's all about. That is very strange. I don't know what that was about. Okay, inspect. Resize. Console. Reload. Okay, so that's weird, right? Because now we don't set it and we don't have the error. And if I go to camera, yeah, it has no value because it's valueless. Then if I go here, I'm just going to put nothing there. So many times it gets called. It only gets called once. And let's see, the camera, it doesn't have it. But now if I do this, see, I get this one where it says the aspect is 1. Oh, but it's probably pointing at the actual object. This is probably a copy of the object, not a copy of the actual object, and the actual object has probably changed. And we could test that out by saying, let's see. And then doing a set timeout. And see, I think this is like a very good example of why that was a fairly, I guess it's a useful a fairly useful error, because this isn't my intention. But you know, it's just like, so what? I mean, I guess, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to think. I'm gonna have to think about it. Okay, so I think, was it still building? Is that the problem? Is it being slow? Oh, oh my gosh, that was silly. I'm like, why didn't I get a console log? Okay, so you'll see that when it executed initially, that it was 1, but then you wait for one cycle, and now it's 1.56, even though it's pointing at the exact same value, and that's because this is a reference right here. So, and that's probably, and that is an issue. That could really turn out to be a real issue. We probably want to make like a shallow copy of that value. So let's just try this. Let's camera equals, and then shallow copy. Of a, well, actually, let's try a deep. Let's see what happens. Deep copy of an object in JS, question mark, and push the button. Yeah, I really like that one because it's very easy to understand. I feel like they came out with structure. I wonder if that is still. If I could not do that in Angular, one of the older Angulars. So let's see. So it shows up in there. It would not. I believe it would not compile it. It was like, you can't do that. Although this does not, so this will actually make it the old value because there's never another call, another effect call when it gets updated. Um, and I don't know exactly how it gets updated, but that's what we need to figure out probably. Let's see, console. Okay, we still have the error. It's probably because I'm not using my camera. Again, this is not the answer. This is us just trying to figure out. So now the problem is gone, right? Like the error is gone, but now we have a real problem in that we have the wrong value. And that's because this effect is not being called, um, when there's a change. Um, so I guess that is what that error was trying to tell us, was that, um, hey, it was a 1 and now it changed, and I never got a chance to draw it as a 1. This might be a bad code smell. You probably aren't doing what you should be. You're probably not. You're probably doing something that you don't intend to do. I guess is what is happening there. So basically, I think the next step is to go in and figure out where that's being set and see if we can republish at that point. Um, and then see where we go from there. Yeah, we're already at 25 minutes, so this is a good one. This is a really good bug. It definitely sort of is a very like most anytime I've worked at any place where they do a lot of vanilla JavaScript, they'll have a couple of weird bugs that nobody that they've had for years and nobody can figure it out. And many times, this is the bug. They have some sort of reference that they're getting, and then for some reason they're like, I don't know why it changes. The value changed for no apparent reason. Um, and this is because this right here, this camera, the way I had it before, where when it was going straight to this, was a like a deep reference to the actual camera piece of memory, and something changed that camera piece of memory, but it didn't. And and so it changed the actual object, and so that is interesting, and that is something that we would be very useful to get to the bottom of. Um, you know, so so that is that. Well, I'm very curious. So now, before since we're here, let's see, npm run build, because I was having a problem using structured cloned, like the version of I believe it was an Angular 17 wouldn't compile with structured clone. Might have been Angular 18, but I think it was Angular 17. So, um, it just didn't recognize. It was out of sync with the latest of JavaScript, I guess. It is building. I would have thought that if it had this kind of problem, like a syntax, like it's probably done all the tokenizing and checking that, validating that all of the tokens are good, and so I'm assuming this is probably good, but I'm just gonna wait and log off as soon as this video is done. Oh, error. Oh, okay, so it's upset that I made it bigger. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I'm curious if it didn't create the dist. Looks like it created the dist. Let's see, reveal in File Explorer. So just to be sure, it's always a good idea just to delete that completely and then rerun it. That error, it may have not let me do it. I'm pretty sure that's just like in tsconfig or one of the other configuration files. All you have to do is modify the budget. But what I don't know is, am I looking at an old distribution file or not? So I have to wait to see that. And if it is, yeah, it's okay. So it is erroring out. Bundle initial exceeded maximum budget. Let's just, while we're here, just go ahead. Try to build my Angular project. This error. I'm assuming it'll tell me where I need to update. Okay, yeah, so apparently inside of Angular, yeah, the Angular.json. Maximum error 5 megabytes. And this is that's so weird. This is my maximum bed. Oh, okay. Okay, so it's saying that if I'm more than 4K over two. Okay. Oh, if I'm any component style. Okay, so is it this one? Budget type initial. Okay, so maximum warrant 500 and maximum error. So the whole website can't be bigger than 1 megabyte. So that's probably not appropriate. Run build. So anyway, so that did prevent that last build from happening. Um, and what we were looking at was an old build. I don't know why. That seems very small. It might be 3JS is just huge. I don't know. I don't. It doesn't seem like it's that big. Okay, so now it's happy. Um, so, anyways, so we took care of that. Anyways, yeah. So tomorrow, I'm gonna dig in, see if I can figure out how to get it to where it resends it re publishes whenever that value is changed. Um, that is clearly a bug. It's probably not really worth fixing because I'm not going to do anything with this, but it is like something that is very likely to run into in a production situation, and I don't want to have to try to figure it out for the first time there. So I would definitely rather get those sort of experience points um, in this scenario where I'm in this low pressure relaxation, just ret bugging me scenario instead of like actually when it matters. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.